Hello, I'm Sharon Angus, and there's a group from Fern Farms down here. Welcome to ask any questions over the time of the conference. I suppose a lot of talk yesterday about price, and as my colleague and peer here said, we need to be talking about value. I want to talk today about connection with the consumer and how we do that. I've been lucky enough to be part of a steering committee that is about Brand New Zealand. And really, we don't have the money to invest in just our own brands. We need to be leveraging about Brand New Zealand and then make our brands work below them. Our vision for Fern Farms is inspirational food created by passionate people. Not venison, not red meat, food and people. To be able to connect with the consumer, you need to be able to have an emotive value.
Welcome to the country of open spaces. Where nature bursts and flows. Where the elements come alive. Where there is room to breathe. Places to find. Welcome to the country of open hearts. Where care for the land and people is genuine. Where life is for living. Where time spent together is never time wasted. Where lasting partnerships are formed. Where strangers are treated as friends. And memories are treasured forever. Welcome to the country of open minds. Where learning is embraced and opinions valued. Where freshness is championed. Quality prized for the world to enjoy. Where nature inspires incredible thinking. Where ingenuity drives innovation. And productivity. Where big ideas are born every day and new technologies are perfected. Where the impossible becomes real. And where every sunrise inspires the extraordinary. Welcome to the country of open spaces, open hearts, and open minds. Together, we can do amazing things.
I don't know about you, but I want to be part of that, and I want to be part of those brands that make it successful. For us, our brand sits perfectly under that. Open hearts, open minds, open places, 100% made of New Zealand. We need to leverage our brands under the umbrella of New Zealand and New Zealand Inc. Plate to pasture, a lot of people sort of ask us, why do you put the plate first? Because if you can't sell your product for a premium, and that's what we're about, then you don't have a pasture. And I think we heard a lot about that yesterday. We need to put the consumer first. Now, a lot of things go into a brand actually meaning something, and you can't get the value from the consumer unless your brand means something. I know David's going to talk a lot about the international trends. I'm going to talk about the research, the insights, and the trends that have influenced our brand and how we connect with the consumer. We all know that there is a food scarcity and there is a protein scarcity. That's why we need to get a premium. We know that food safety, and there was talk about Horsegate. We actually had Tesco's director out here last week, and he has a huge partnership with us. Obviously, we're a huge supplier to Tesco's. And what Landcorp talked about yesterday, the director said directly to us, you have a better story about your source than what we're doing, and we need to work more carefully with you. Sustainability and ethics. We do know that consumers aren't really willing to pay more for this type of thing, but you've got to understand it's a given. It's a given for countries like Europe and Germany that you actually do this. It's like quality was, that if you're going to sell a premium brand, you've got to be able to show that you're looking at sustainability and ethics. Increased segmentation. Well, that's perfect for us. It's just that we haven't done it well. We need to be able to be targeting the markets that can actually get the value and segment to those higher socioeconomic people. Diverse channels to market. We've got a container. We're launching our retail product up in China at the moment. And we're not using the channel of the retailers. We're going direct to home. Chinese have missed a generation of watching TV. They're hugely digital. And you can actually look at the different channels, and you need to do it differently. There's a huge connection digitally. I think it was great seeing the next generation of farmers here yesterday, and they talked about Tinder and Tender. You've got to be able to work out from those social media what's going to work for you and how you connect, and target the right sort of social media. Back to nature, that fits perfectly with our brand. Our essence in our brand is about the perfect lamb experience, the perfect venison experience, and the perfect beef experience. It's about the experience. And we have 5 values for our brand, and one is source, then there is natural, then there's skills and expertise, and that less is more. So natural, and the trend back to natural, fits perfectly of how you bring it into your brand. This is where you start to see the trends, and I start to get excited. It's about an emotive, because you can do all the rational, but you won't connect to the consumer and you won't get brand loyalty unless you connect on the emotive. This is about a food experience, and we're seeing all around the world now that it's not just about taste, it's about having an interest, a connection, and they actually have to have an experience. Pure professionalism, that means that just as we see MasterChef and things around the world, and people at home actually believe they can be much more of a chef at home. So you need to pull your expectations up on how you're marketing to that consumer. And lastly, before I get on to what we're doing, food with integrity. And that's where all the farmers and everyone comes back, is we actually have to have a great backstory now. And what we are doing with Tesco's and with Farm Pride is trust you can trace back. And obviously they want to be able to prove this. So we've started with stories on the farmers, and this has worked incredibly well for us connecting with the consumer. This is 2 venison stories that we've done, and actually showing how they care, the chain of care right through, and proving it, not just talking about it, telling the story so they can connect. So we also launched the Premier Selection Awards, because when you come to food service, your consumer is the chef. And we might think we know the chef, but once you start talking to them, you learn very quickly their language is incredibly different to ours, and very different to the consumers. Here we've actually gone with 73 top chefs in New Zealand. 17 of the entries were venison, And it's an opportunity for us to actually get a unique dish on the menu and start the conversation about your brand, about the product. The biggest issue with venison is getting it in people's mouths. So we've had your heroes create the volume you'll get for your whole brand. And we have heroes that are Silver Fern Farms Reserve, Silver Fern Farms, Angus, Hereford, Savannah, and Alpine Origin Merino, Celere. That's our heroes. So you start the conversation going with the chefs, and you find, like our business in New Zealand with Bidvest has tripled with the whole volume by having your heroes and your premium heroes to start the conversations. This was one of our venison chefs, and I don't know if you know this actual restaurant, but it's in Auckland, and having worked for Fonterra, it's around the corner from Fonterra, and you have a huge amount of business clients going to this restaurant. Now, when I worked with Capity Cheese, it was our main objective to get our name on the menu at a Connell Street bistro. So when we actually get it and you hear that these guys are really proud to have our product on the menu, it's a win-win situation, and they're talking about it. And their language is simple but considered compilation of textures in a deep sauce made from the best possible marriage. The venison was so tender, you barely needed your knives. Now, don't you want people to hear that about your product? This was a finalist that was Scott. He's at Pepper Tree, and we're working with all these chefs permanently now. They're in our Premier Selection Club. And you know, the language here, a simple dish with complex tastes and textures, magnificently combined. It was sublime. Now, do we use that language in our marketing? That's what they relate to as chefs. Perfectly balanced and not just good, but very, very good. We did this with Cuisine, which is obviously the big foodie magazine in New Zealand. And our own chef that we've worked with for a long time in Dunedin is actually Michael Coughlan, and his head chef entered, and he got to a finalist as well. This contemporary dish pushed the diner to try meat that is well beyond the usual venison offerings, and did so in a refined and clever way. So we start to use that language, and you'll see in the agenda that is today how we talk about venison. It's a rare distinction, and that means one that's got double meaning. You should cook it rare, but it's a rare product, and that should mean pure economics. It's a rare product, so you should pay more for it. It's enticingly lean. You don't lose flavour, but it's wonderfully healthy for you. And a product that's worked incredibly well for us as we launched is Celere. Celere Alpine Origin Merino as a story point, because it's a breed that lives up in a high country. So we talk about getting the high from the high country. It's all about emotive connection and how you can make that story work for you. So in markets, what we're doing with our premium products, in Germany, we're very much connecting with our chef and working very closely with Leuten. That's an ad that we use, our best cuts for your best customers and creations with Leuten. We're doing a lot with venison and Hereford as the premium range. Middle East, an amazing high socioeconomic, obviously not for venison, but our reserve beef that we're doing there and the story of hand selecting the product for the chef is working incredibly well. And there's a very high socioeconomic target in the Middle East. Right. In Asia, we're working very tightly in China and Hong Kong. Celere and reserves are the key ones, and as you've heard, we're going to be working as a team with the 5 marketers for China with Savannah. You need tools. These are for the waiters. You can't get people to tell you good stories, so you need good partners and you need good tools. This is a waiter's little clip that has, like wine, the tasting points for all of our hero products. So it's a quick reminder to them to talk to the consumer about it. And of course, we have our retail product. We have 5 in the range, and just to really, this is another small premium segment. Just to give you an idea, we've grown 30 to 50% every year with our retail venison. And I suppose if you look on the other axis, this is sales scan data from Nielsen's. What is really important and what you should look at is we've also grown the price per kilo to over $40. Now that's the type of segments we need to be growing. We've done that by changing the mix. Admittedly, we launched with lower products like mince. We've added and talked to consumers and had added things like steaks for an older demographic that wants a small portion. So it's thinking about those things of actually what do you do for that demographic and how you should market to them. You've got to be clever. I mean, food is changing, and it's changing greatly. Things that we did last year, how many people know about the food bag? Anyone know about the food bag? Good on you. The food bag is amazing. You know, in Auckland, there's 6,000 people that get their food delivered to them every day. They don't go to a supermarket. We have our venison in that food bag. Another lady that we work with is Jess, which is the home kitchen. She actually delivers cooked meals. That was the PR and the tweeting and the blogging that we're getting back about connecting with those consumers. Another one is, and they fit with our values of our brand. The other one there is the honesty bag. They get delivered natural vegetables, and we gave them our venison roast, and then we actually talked to them about what they thought. You must get it in their mouths. You must trial it. We've just been at the food show Wellington last week, and we're doing, at the moment, we have our salespeople over in Europe doing trials with chefs as well. So this is some of the comments, and this is what I mean about getting venison in people's mouths. Oh my God, this is good. I can't believe I've never tried it before. I don't eat venison. Go on, and this is the lady at the thing. Go on, try it. Oh, actually, it's really good. I love your venison. I don't usually like venison, but this is wonderful. That's getting the farmed venison in people's mouths. The venison steak pack is the perfect size for me, as my wife doesn't like venison, so nothing goes to waste. In other words, he's eating the whole lot, which was not the intention. And I'm going to leave you with the fact that you must remember the consumer. And this is tweeting, retweeting. We were at the food show. Awesome tastings at Wellington yesterday, and very friendly staff. They're talking about the experience first, not the product. So please remember that. The value you get is about the food experience. Don't just think about the product. And, you know, she retweeted it, and then she said, venison perfection. I mean, how good is that? Thank you.